Okay, we're here with Lee Henderson. He's got some questions for us. All right, other categories, blasphemy questions. When did the idea to do a Hemi and a Tri-5 strike you? We were in a car 2 years ago. We were driving.
I don't remember.
We were in the El Camino driving to do the engine swap, and we were talking about doing the NASCAR version of the car.
Oh, right. I remember this car was going to be radiused wheel. Basically what that silver car was that was on the cover of Hot Rod a couple months ago.
Yep.
We were inspired to do that with a V6 and the turbo and everything.
That's right.
He had a V6 and a turbo, and then it turned into me going, you know, I've always wanted a Hemi in one of those things. And there you have it.
And then I ended up giving him the V6 engine for the Hemi engine that ultimately ended up in that car.
Yep.
Yeah. So who had the idea? That was his idea.
Well, you wanted the car.
I wanted the car.
Did you want a 2-lane blacktop car, or you just wanted a 55?
I wanted a 2-lane blacktop-ish car. Not necessarily a copy of it, because there's so many good ones out there already.
It's not a copy. It's not even a tribute. It's inspired by it.
The scoop is. All right. How did people react to the idea? I think before we actually did it, there were some people that were bitching about the Hemi going in the car.
More people get it now.
Yeah, now that they've seen it, I think
they've gotten used to it, or they've gone away.
It's true, they discussed. All right, any surprises that slowed down the progress? Yeah. Well, no, I wasn't really surprised so much.
It wasn't a surprise.
It didn't fit.
Wasn't fit.
The engine just flat out didn't fit in the car.
I thought firewall is tons of room.
The firewall is pushed back 3.5 inches, and the passenger side has a pocket put in it for the valve cover to get it off. And the driver's side, you have to actually take the master cylinder off the firewall to get the valve cover off.
And making the header around the steering column was a nightmare. You could have solved a lot of this. Well, no, actually, you could move the engine forward, because the steering column would go right through the number, what would it be, 7.2.
Yeah. And the radiator, we ended up pushing the radiator really far forward. It wouldn't, nothing would have worked. So it's actually not set back that far. It just flat out doesn't fit in the Chevy.
No one makes that kit.
Yeah. All right. How long does it take to get the car to where it is? I think it's been like 1.5 years.
Yeah.
First year, honest to God, I just didn't work on the thing.
Yeah, 1.5 years it went to a body shop. It's got hot rods, it's got floor pans, quarter panels, basically everything after the firewall except for the roof.
I always screw that up. It's Hot Rods and Hobbies.
Oh, sorry.
Which I always call Scott's Hot Rods. They went to Hot Rods and Hobbies when we got home in Signal Hill, and they did the floors in it because the floors were a mess. The car had been rear-ended. And then it came back to our shop because I was all in a hurry to put the roll cage in it, because on 3 separate occasions we tried to throw this car together and drive it, and it never worked out.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, is Blasphemy the only elephant 426-based Hemi powered Tri-5 in the world?
It's not. I know for a fact that it's not, because when we started talking about doing it, somebody sent us a photo of one that was like sitting in a garage that had been built in like 1968 or something like that. So,
yeah, I had a lot of confusion about that.
What?
I had a lot of confusion about that.
Yeah.
Because I heard you say, you know, you'd only seen early Hemis in them.
I only have, but my assumption is that somebody else had done it.
It would have made sense in the 60s, because gassers had all sorts of different engines in them. They weren't that brand loyal then. And like, I actually have photos in the archives of a 41 Willys with a slant 6 Chrysler in it that was running in, like, you know, H-gas or something like that. So people did this stuff.
Didn't they make Hemi heads for those old inline 6s like that?
Probably what you're thinking of is in Australia they made a Chrysler inline 6.
I know that, but it seems like I saw somewhere where there was like an R-Dun head for an inline 6 of some kind.
Not that I'm aware of. Okay. Especially not a Mopar slant 6.
Okay. What size is the engine? Well, it started out, this is the second engine that's been in it. We took an actual 426 on the initial road trip and mocked it up in the car. And then David had a 528 Hemi crate motor that had some work done to it, and ultimately it was bored 30 over, and I never did the math, but I think you did it.
It's a 535.
535, yeah. So it's a 30 over 528 Hemi, which don't ever do that, because there's no room for a head gasket anymore in that engine.
It's a Mopar Performance Siamese bore block, but it's the older kind, not the newer one. And yeah, he blew head gaskets, both of them on the dyno.
On the dyno, yeah. Wow. Yeah, there's nothing left of the head gasket because the bore is so big and the push rod is right there. So don't do that. Just keep the 528. What's up?
By the way, top fuel motor, you know what the bore is?
Well, it's only 500 inches, so it's got 4 and a...
not even 4 1/4. They're like 4 1/85 or something like that.
Oh, that was a 4 1/4.
Thicker walls, strength.
What sort of power was it making? It made 703 pound-feet at like 4,400 RPM and 700 horsepower at the 800. And it was still going up, but only a couple of numbers per 100 RPM, and so we stopped.
What's the revolution set at? Because I hit it.
I think it's a 6,500.
65?
Yeah.
That tack's wrong then.
Oh, then tack broke.
So the speed up, I noticed it stopped.
Yeah, the tack is sitting there at 2,300 no matter where you drive it.
That motor is over square, right? It has a larger bore than the stroke length?
That motor is 4,530 by 4,250.
Okay.
Is that right?
Okay.
I can do that math.
Okay, what is the history of swapping different manufacturers' engines into drag cars? I know a Hemi and a Willys is a thing. I know Chevy Power and a Ford is a thing. Why do you think repowering a Chevy with a Hemi causes some people to get so upset? I'm not a history guy at all. I mean, I started out in mini trucks.
Sure.
And muscle cars. So, but David has spent more time in the Hot Rod Archives, I think, than anyone else on the planet. So he'd be better to answer that than I would.
That's 0.7854. Oh, it's a 531. It's 4,530 by 4,125.
Wow.
Yep, 531.
Cool.
531.8. Call it a 532.
Cool.
It's pretty sad. I built the bottom end and I don't remember any of that stuff.
Hey. It's just a bunch of numbers.
Gassers, once again, always had engine swaps. Not always. I take that back. A lot of small block Chevy 55s, but the original like Stone Woods and Cook Willys, those were all Oldsmobile motors.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
the old Rocket, the first overhead valve like Rocket.
Guys used Rocket motors and everything. And obviously the early Chrysler Hemi made it into just about everything in its day. So, you know, the whole brand loyalty of, you know, Chevy and a Chevy, Ford and a Ford, that didn't start until, I'm going to say, the 70s. Probably it really got steam in the early 80s. Back in the 50s and 60s, it didn't matter at all.
Yeah, it was whatever new thing that was bigger and more powerful than everything else. That's what
Whatever was new. Nailhead 40, Nailhead Buick in a 40 Ford was common. Oldsmobile Rocket in a 40 Ford. 32 Fords had absolutely everything.
Yeah, when the flathead was not the coolest thing anymore, not the most powerful thing, everybody swapped the next big thing.
The short version is that my level of guilt on this is...
Yeah.
I won't lie, I was completely on board with this idea to put the Hemi in it because I flat out knew it would be controversial.
Yeah.
Oh god, when I waited, that was just...
I had a crazy idea the other day. I just want to add real quick. I was thinking like there was this guy I know that he showed a picture like on Craigslist of this old Ferrari, like an old 400i that was just shot, you know, and he's like, and some people were like, repower with an LS, and I was like, put an early Hemi in it.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool.
LS motors are hard to argue with if you really want to drive the car and if you don't care what it looks like.
I was just thinking about just something that would be really weird and interesting.
The bummer about that is the LS heads are amazing. You're getting race heads essentially. You know, shallow valve angle race heads out of the box, and the whole thing's O-ring so it doesn't leak. How do you not do that when your alternative is maybe the small block Chevy you've had forever that leaks everywhere?
I can't deny the value of an LS.
Wasn't the first thing to have the O-rings for the head the Boss 9? Or
that's a different kind of O-ring. What we're talking about is like the intake seals and like the oil panel, all that stuff's a rubber seal on an LS motor. You're talking about a cylinder head being O-ring with a piece of
instead of a valve, instead of a
Yeah, which I think you're right. They didn't do that with those.
Yeah.
All right.
I got confused. Sorry.
What's the history of using a solid steer axle in a drag car? Did early gassers get their axles from vans? Did the Ram Chargers start?
I can't tell you what the very first car to do that was, but I think the earliest, you know, cars had solid axles in them commonly until, let's call it 1949 with the Chevy shoebox, or with the Ford shoebox, I think. And then a lot of stuff went to independent front suspension. It was heavy. So when guys were building drag cars out of them, they would put solid axles in them, and they started with a lot of like 40 Ford, 37 Ford tube axle stuff. And later on, like Dick Landy's 65 ultra wheelbase Hemi Cornet, I think was a 100 truck front axle.
Yeah.
So
I'm still blown away.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking.
Solid front axle was going to be lighter than the arms, but I've obviously never weighed the stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it would be.
Yeah.
Well, well, what's interesting is some people use transverse leaf springs in the early days, and that eliminates one leaf spring, probably lighter.
That's cool.
But the other reason that they did it, though, weight is a big deal, and you don't only lose the weight of the suspension, they also cut the chassis off at the firewall and put square tube. So that loses some weight also.
Okay.
But they thought that they were putting it high up in the nose for weight transfer, putting more weight in the back by lifting the front. And with the tires of the time, it worked, but it's antiquated now.
We're still in the car.
We're watching the video guys crash the car right now.
Oh, I was totally confused on that. I thought it was just to raise the front end up for weight transfer.
No, not all gassers had straight axles. A lot of people think that that's the signature thing, but if you look back at history, a lot of people just put ball joint spacers and springs and stuff like that on them.
Yeah.
Is Blasphemy the exact factory wheelbase, or is it slightly altered? I never measured it, but I think it's stock.
Probably. Because he makes that chassis Jim Meyer Racing to fit the production car.
Yeah, I thought of that before I actually saw it in person. So.
Yeah, that body just dropped right on the car. The only thing we even cut was the pinion snubber mount, sheet mount. Other than that, I mean, and obviously the fenders for the tires, but that body literally fell on that chassis.
Cool.
Let's see here. How does Blasphemy ride?
Like a truck.
Yeah, it rides like a cement truck.
Actually, it was a lot better before we cranked up the coilovers in the back.
Yeah, we had a bunch of stuff in the trunk of it, and the tires were rubbing a little bit because we wussed out on flaring the fenders. They're flared, but not a lot. And so we cranked the coilovers up a little bit, and that stiffened up the ride. But
if you pull the leaf in the front, move the coilovers back to where they were, and then move the coilover mount location, I think it would be pretty good.
Yeah, it had like a 4 or 5 leaf pack up front because we told them we were putting a heavy in it. They knew it was heavy, and they kind of just shot for the moon as far as the leaf spring pack and that.
Yeah.
But we took 1 out, and we took 2 out, and with 2 out it was great, but the problem is the shocks had no travel in them anymore. So we need to either find shorter shocks, which would be hard because they're really short to begin with. They're like a mini truck shock.
Yeah, they are.
Or we need to rework the shock mounts right now.
The stance on the car is not quite right to my eye. It needs to be a little lower in the front, a little higher in the back.
It looks like it has a little bit of camber actually, unless it's just the inflation pressure you got or something.
I keep looking and they have not worn out. Blow me away.
Right, no, they're perfect.
Like earlier, it looks like they're cocked out just a little bit, but
Maybe.
I don't know.
We never even aligned it.
It doesn't wander on the freeway at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it rides rough when you hit a pothole, and there's some sections of the 40 that are like whoop-de-doos. It's not bad.
Let's see. Are you in pain right now? No, I'm better. I have beer, but yes, when I got out of the car, my butt hurt like I just got out of prison.
I didn't hate it until yesterday. I was fine until yesterday was wearing me out.
I'm actually going to take the foam out of your seat
and put it in yours.
And put it in mine for the next leg of this deal, because
Jessica suffered.
Those seats, they look really cool, which is why they're in there, and they're unbelievably light.
They're one-finger seats.
But
you literally pick them up like this.
But after 100 miles, you got to get out of the car.
I bet.
And just walk a bit. Let's see. I have ridden the route you took from West Arkansas to ATL in my solid axle F250 and smashed my skulls in the bits. I do have a spinal.
This is better than an F250.
Yeah, the last 60 miles was really rough. And I don't know if that's because I was burned out or what, but the road seemed really bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad in spots.
No witty companion to while away the hours.
That was the problem. I saw that the car got 17.9 miles per gallon on one leg. Gotta say, I was impressed. How did you get it dialed in so well? It was really flat road in New Mexico and decent air.
I just spent 15 minutes with a guy telling me that our problem was that we didn't have it at 17 to 1 on times.
I tried that. That doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
If it was a new car and not a Hemi, our sensor won't go to 17 to 1. I don't even know.
That's true. Well, they'll go to 20. I thought they went 9 to 20.
Ours is 15.9. The new one is like a Mustang. You know, if you look at the factory display, it goes to 20.
Yeah.
Let's see. It'd be a lot of stalkers from Glimpse. They weren't stalkers, but they were very patient people that found us on the highway on the street.
Like me.
Like you.
Have you observed anyone pretending to be indifferent to this car thus far? There was a kid with a Mustang, or there was a kid with a Corvette last night at the Mexican restaurant who really wanted to race us.
Oh yeah?
Badly. Like, he wanted to race bad. In fact, he sent his buddy into the restaurant to call us out, essentially.
I talked to him.
Oh boy.
And I was like, well, what's the gun? He's like, oh, it's 582 horsepower Corvette. I'm like, less power, more weight. This doesn't add up, bro.
Yeah, he wanted to race, and I said, well, what do I get when I win? And that was kind of the end of that conversation. And the kid with the Corvette actually showed up, hung around, and he was fairly indifferent to the car, but he was, I think he was 18.
Yeah, it's not everyone's style. I think people who are indiffererent to it are truly indifferent to it and don't bother.
Oh, I hadn't seen the reactions yet. I mean, I was like just sitting, you know, then the third car in line riding up here, and I mean, it was just, I was cackling my head off. I'm just laughing at everybody looking at it. And then every time we stopped, people just ready.
All right, is Power Tour season your busiest time of year? What keeps you going besides a few beers?
There is no busiest time of year, it's the whole time of year, because if it's not Power Tour, then it's Drag Week or SEMA or, you know, more Roadkill, more Hot Rod Garage, more magazines.
I tend to disappear between Christmas Eve and New Year's, go hang out with my family. That's about it. And he wants to have a beer, we should have a beer.
That's right. You don't have one.
No.
I'm sorry I had to read the paper to remind myself to offer you one.
Oh, that's okay.
Do you like Corona?
That's fine. All right. Thank you.
Welcome to Power Tour. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Did you expect the show to take off the way it has? Are people recognizing you in public now?
I did not expect it to be what it is at all.
And it took a while. Like for the first year, I don't think I ever got recognized. And then in season 2, it happened to me at Disneyland.
I can tell you right when it started happening was right around the cop car episode, because that's when we were in the parking lot and you got recognized in the Home Depot.
Yeah, that was it.
That was pretty much it. And so did the guy who sold us the cop cars.
Yeah.
And it was right around the time people started recognizing it.
And it was only every few months I'd run into someone, you know, and now it's all the time.
Yeah.
And but everybody's been so cool. Like everybody I've met has been the kind of person I'd have a beer with. It hasn't gotten weird at all. You know, it's cool, great. All right, let's see. Are you surprised by how many people flock to the beaters? I'm not, but I'm blown away by the number of people that bought junk cars. Like yesterday to come on Power Tour. I met 3 different guys that bought cars on purpose.
Hey, it wouldn't be a challenge if you only had, if you didn't have more than a day.
66 F100.
Yeah.
That was great.
Big block truck.
Another people who are here in like a Jeep Cherokee, like a 70s Jeep Cherokee, and another guy with I think a 85 Pontiac.
What is your favorite Roadkill car?
Favorite car?
Yeah.
The Gasser.
Yeah, the Gasser.
Right on.
I would say a week ago I would have said the General Mayhem Charger.
I would have said the Datsun a week ago, but
the Gasser.
I think the General Mayhem would be pretty close if it had more power. But
yeah, we're gonna fix that, I think. All right, most fun episode, most difficult, least fun episode.
The most difficult, least fun, and best fun episode is the Charger.
The most difficult, least fun was Lemon
Fury. Yeah, that was the least fun for
least
sure.
Fun.
yeah,
Absolutely the least fun.
that was just a total fail.
That one.
Yeah, that was an epic fail. And the most fun for me, this is it right here.
Yeah.
This is it. Like a lot of like wrenching and building things with my hands with David, and then just a nutty road trip. I mean, the stuff we saw, the people we met coming here,
It was really cool.
Life-changing stuff. All right, what happened to the Vet Hack car? Vet Hack is when I started watching you on video.
That hack was Finnegan worked at Hot Rod for roughly 2 days when we did that video. For people who don't know what it is, we took a C4 Corvette and went out to Irwindale Speedway. Hot Rod had done a magazine called, or a story called Caddy Hack in, I forget, 1984 or something like that.
I think wasn't it 87?
We did it again.
There was Pontiac, I know that. That's like I was too young for
Pontiac.
Caddy Hack, but I read Pontiac when I was a little kid in the magazine when it was new.
We did those two where we went to a drag strip, cut the body off the car and watch it go faster, and I figured why not do that with a handling car? And so we cut apart a C4 Corvette and you get the hate.
We literally had a group of people that threatened us with a pipe bomb that they sent into the office over there.
Yeah, a Corvette club.
Wow.
literally said, we're driving to your office and we're gonna kick your ass.
And it wasn't like, haha.
That thing was junk,
We were like,
though. It was
snap.
trash.
Like, we actually, and that's the thing I've learned about the internet is it doesn't matter how well you try to explain something, people will see the first couple seconds and automatically snap to a judgment, and you can't fix that.
Even worse, people won't even watch the show or read the story.
Damn.
That's the new Hot Rod Camaro.
Nice.
Sounds good.
Yes, it does.
Okay, I want to pause.
So yeah, people on the internet will not read a story and react to something that somebody else said about it. Go, oh yeah, those guys are idiots. That story sucked, and they never even read it.
So Vet Hack was an '84 C4 Corvette that had been left in the desert and flooded, and he and Chad Reynolds bought the car, and we took it to Toyota Speedway in Irwindale and ran around a road course that we made, and then just started cutting parts off of it to see how much lighter it would get and to see how it affected the handling and how quick it would go. And by the time it was done, it was a man-sized golf cart. It looked like a lunar rover. I mean, it was
funny.
An awesome-looking car.
Chad still has it.
Yeah, and people flipped out that we cut up a Corvette, and they totally ignored the fact that this Corvette was junk to begin with. It was absolute junk. And instead of focusing on the fact that we made the car fun, it wasn't fun before. We made a fun car out of it. They lost their minds.
No one would have ever restored it. It was sat there,
Oh, yeah.
gone to the junkyard.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry, dude.
That's okay. Yeah, I've been hooked ever since I saw that. It was hilarious, so.
It says do not sit. Well, you can't read.
That's right.
I can't have as many drinks as you.
Yeah, I mean, I've been hooked on you guys' videos since that, so it was hilarious.
Was Roadkill? All right, was Roadkill planned after the '66 Buick Special Burt episode? Ask me.
What's the first one we did?
We did was the Buick before the Crusher trip?
I never remember.
We took 2 road trips and filmed them for, I don't even know why we filmed
No,
them.
3.
The Buick.
Super Beat at Las Vegas. Then we did Crusher and we did the Buick. Those are the 3 things before Roadkill.
Okay.
Clint did the Buick. He was the videographer for the Buick. And then Jason did the other 2, right? So I think Buick might have been the very first one.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was still on the Hot Rod channel on YouTube. It wasn't on Motor Trend.
Right.
Sorry. Wow. Turn that around. No, it was. We never set out to do Roadkill, and in fact, when they told us that we had to do a show every month, we stole the name Roadkill from a magazine we started making called Roadkill.
That we never did make.
Yeah, get your butt up.
Let's go someplace else.
Okay, all right.
Well, now this is.
Where's Adam? That's the guy with the Chevelle.
So no, Roadkill was never planned. We basically were told we had a show, and we didn't even know we had a show.
Right.
And all of a sudden it was make the magazine, and when you can find a couple days free, go shoot a TV, a YouTube show called Roadkill. Which is why the show always looks like half-assed, because we're literally just go find time and go make it.
Yeah.
That's when we're drawing.
Will we ever see Rick Payway, Chad Reynolds, or Rob Fan on Roadkill that we fix the laugh?
Probably.
Yeah, because we always do Rob's Dragway.
Yeah.
Rob's there. Chad's busy. Chad's got his own TV show now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Chad's hosting
The Hop to the Streetcar Challenge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Chad's he's big time. And Payway, I don't think Payway's really into the camera.
Now it does kind of irritate.
He's good at it. I don't know.
He was funny on the Buick video.
Yeah.
All right, number 5. One of the things that appeals to me about the videos is the way you see you and guys like Rick Payway talk with lingo like mint, dial, money, this junk, flock to beaters. I almost think those are all of your phrases.
It might be.
This is way too nice.
You say dialed.
Extra medium, I meant that's and funny stuff like pretending to taste the dip fluid. That's not pretending. He actually tasted the dip fluid.
Whoa.
Yeah, you can tell if it's burned or not.
Oh, wow.
You can tell what's in it. You can tell if it's metallic. You can tell if it's burned.
That doesn't mean it's
wow.
a good idea.
Yeah.
Do it if I
does.
Oh, I just thought you were kidding. I didn't realize he really tasted it.
That sort of conversational banter pervasive in the hot rodding community in general, or are we interviewing?
Both.
entertainers?
We're not entertainers. No, it's just people bust balls. That's the way it is.
Okay.
Were guys like Ray Baskerville that funny? I never met him.
Oh yeah.
He was hilarious.
Oh, basketball's hilarious. Not hilarious in a like comedy, joking, you know, make you laugh kind of way, but he was a very unique personality.
Yeah.
He was a riot. Always super upbeat until he was pissed. And it was really
I have a photo on my Instagram page of a car on a dirt track flipping behind Gray, and he's not even aware of it flipping coming towards him, and he's standing there with his camera. It's the most amazing photo I've ever seen. Go to Finnegan 999 on Instagram, you'll see it.
Okay.
And you look at this photo, and I've never met the guy, but I look at that photo and go, baddest man alive, because the guy's not moving. The car's gonna kill him, he's not
It's
moving.
probably because he was oblivious. It wasn't because he was fearless.
Still,
Yeah.
badass oblivious photo.
Yeah.
All right, do you think the banner is what part of brings back the viewers, or do you think people just like the Burnouts, Mayhem, and of course the dog?
People like Roadkill because we're no different than them, and we're just doing stuff that regular guys do, and we're filming it, and we're not making a fake reality show.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
There you go.
You'd be doing this if somebody gave you 3 days off of work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, everybody walking up to us here at Power Tour going, man,
Most people have done one with them.
it's exactly right.
We're not reinventing
We're watching
the
it
wheel.
because if I had a vacation, I'd be doing what we're doing. It's not like we're setting up a fake premise and, you know,
Or they've done it.
bogus challenges. And
I've met so many people that have done stuff you've done, and we're not reinventing.
we're just lucky enough to get paid to have cameras pointing at us while we're doing it.
Yeah. Pretty much. I guess we're done then. Thank
All of them?
you. Yep. Yep. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.